Welcome back, gamers. Today we are going to go over Vigor Season 13. But first, if this is your first time at the channel, do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button below. Let the YouTube algorithm know that you would like to see this channel grow. We are over 500 subscribers now, so I can't thank you folks enough. Truly, it means the world to me that people watch, comment, stay, like, and continue to come back. So thank you again. I appreciate that so much. Want to go over the changes we've seen in Season 13 and really as a whole. And also want to talk about lobby intimidation. So with the lobby intimidation, as always, we provide visual references for the for the topics we discuss. But for Season 13, you can tell that there's a lot of unhappy Outlanders out there. And I kind of want to talk about what changes that we want to see, but I think before we get there, we have to understand what Vigor is. And again, this is my personal theory. I can't say for sure that this is the reason the game was made, but there are a few points that I want to go over. So, Vigor, why was it created? Well, as you know, when DayZ released in March of 2019, Vigor was officially released August of 2019. But when DayZ was released, the console release was a disaster. You know, DayZ came out in 2013, of course, but when it finally got to Xbox, it was 2019. And there was a tremendous amount of bugs. The graphical rendering was not great. It's still not great even today, but it's only 3 years old. You know, you look at a Ubisoft game that's, 10 years old, and it still looks way better than DayZ. So part of why Vigor was created was, one, they needed to make sure that they had the correct pathway. Because, when you get into Xbox's ecosystem for publishing, same with Sony and, Nintendo, there's certain requirements that the hardware owner or, the company that you're releasing the video game on their platform, that they require to meet their publishing needs. So part of that was a secondary way to kind of figure out the best way to publish on Xbox, because they figured out that their first iteration of the Infusion engine was not great, or whatever the engine they created, Arma and all that. Can't remember the name right now. I apologize, but they realized it wasn't great. It needed a lot of updates. It was old, and just how much effort it took to get DayZ over the finish line was just too much for them, and for anybody really. I think it was sometime in July of 2017, Battlestate Games released their, Tarkov went into beta. And, that started creating a lot of buzz, especially when it came out, because it was a new take on, like, the DayZ formula. And they kind of wanted to explore that, which makes sense as a business. You want to try to offer things to your customers that they would like. Their games never went into the free-to-play market before, so this gave them the opportunity to explore that free-to-play market. And again, reverse engineering the path for console release. And the reason that was all important is we just saw Arma Reforger came out. And Arma Reforger is kind of a game changer for Bohemia as a whole. For one, Arma is their flagship franchise. They want to see that grow. Two, the biggest appeal for the Arma community is their ability to mod and create playstyles and updates and really anything that they want to add into the game, they basically can. And they wanted to be able to create a engine that could handle that could co-publish on PC, Xbox, Sony, maybe even, Switch in the future, Nintendo, but who knows. But at the end of the day, going through the DayZ release, they realized that what they had was not good enough, and they needed to fix it. They needed to come up with a solution, which is what they came up with in the Infusion engine. They needed to make sure that every pathway reverse engineered from, themselves self-publishing, and Unreal was a secondary engine that they could use, and they only had to pay a percentage back to, the owners of Unreal, Epic Games, after it made X amount of dollars. I think it's $1 million. You have to start giving them 5%. So doing that, they kind of were able to get all their accomplishments, which they've wrapped up and pushed into the the new engine that they're using for Arma. And I want to kind of go over it. So, it's even, you even notice when you get into the modding section of the game, and this is part of the reason why, you always hear, hey, I want to see Vigor on PC, or, the PC players wanting Vigor. It's created on a PC, but it's never going to go to PC because there's no reason for them to move it to PC. If they continue to, promote the game, and it's a great game, it's an award-winning game, but if they continue to promote it, that's just, that 5% comes off the top regardless. And they really would rather have you play on their proprietary engine that they control and own and keep all the profits from. And if you look here, this is the Infusion Engine's dashboard for modding. This is Unreal's. Infusion, Unreal, Infusion, Unreal. So as you can see, there's a lot of similarities. And really and I hate to say this because I love Vigor, it's a great game, but really the reason it was created was to bridge the gap between their current publishing and how to publish on consoles with mods going forward for Arma. And yes, they will continue to support Vigor as long as Vigor makes money. As soon as Vigor doesn't become profitable, they're not going to support it anymore. And I think we need to really understand that when we temper our, our release, the seasonal releases that they come up with, or the updates, and how frustrating it is. And we have to realize this is why it's that way. We only get a few people for development because everything has to be done. That's the key with Arma. Like any of the changes, they just have to make sure it's supported. So really the players dictate how the game's going to look, how the game's going to go, what it will do. How everyone enjoys their own matches because they created it. And really they're just taking care of the server database and making sure that everything still runs and nothing is game breaking. And as long as that's the case, they can run a profitable venture such as Arma. And I don't want to say with minimal manpower because it does take people to support the game, but the reality is Bohemia is not set up to spend a bunch of money to have a bunch of developers pour into a free-to-play game like Activision is. And unless something drastically changes, either everybody walks away from Vigor and it just quits, or people just start spending a bunch of money, I guess, and then they'll start throwing more people at it. But the reality is Vigor was created, in my opinion, Vigor was created to help them get Infusion Engine over the finish line as far as publishing. And that's it. So, not saying I don't love the game, but I think, unfortunately, that's the harsh reality is it's a business decision, transactional, and they will continue to support it as long as we spend money on it. But when that ceases, it'll just kind of fade away, which is, unfortunate. I don't want to be that type of person because I love this game. There's no other experience like it on console. And, I would love to see it grow and change and, morph into, more players per map, 45 player maps. I want to see, new maps every 6 months. Like I want to see this thing really grow. And I think they're trying new things, and I think we're seeing that now, but it's getting further away from the original gameplay, the hardcore survival type of style gameplay, with the the arcade feeling, where if I die, I lose my guns, I lose my stuff on me, but I still have my shelter to continue to create more stuff, and I like that style. I'm even okay with the gun buffs that they're doing. Outside the LMGs, I think we all hate the LMGs. I'm not too opposed to, the current state of the LMGs. I would like to see a little bit more effect on the weight. Maybe, the jump shot not be so effective. There's a few things I would like to see. And leave your message in the comments below what changes you would like to see overall. But unfortunately, in my opinion, I think this is about as good as it's going to get with Vigor. They'll continue to support it as long as people play, but it's not going to get any wholesale changes, and it's just going to kind of fade away, which is sad because I love the game. But, for our next tip, I want to kind of go over lobby intimidation. And you'll see every time like you load into a lobby, especially when you get in and there's a bunch of everybody's a level 70 or 75, end of last season. And, now started this season, I just jumped in a lobby, I think last night. There was like level 30s already, and they were carrying the right guns, and they could have bought up to level 25. I'm not saying they didn't play or didn't necessarily not spend crowns to get there, but The reality is, when you're looking at your pre-lobby and you see people that are higher ranked quickly carrying MT49s, you're kind of like, oh crap, these are going to be really good players and trying to hunt me down and kill me. So this lobby was just that, and I kind of want to go in. I'm going through my normal, just staying true to my normal playstyle. So I'm going doing my loot because that's what I like to do, loot. I'm not necessarily a killer that's hunting people, but yeah, if you come across my path, I'm definitely willing to engage. And here's where I exercise my tactical patience. You can see the person in the house there. They run out. Keynote here is I didn't overreact. I didn't shoot as soon as I saw them. I didn't jump up so they could, just see my head and get that headshot glitch peeking. I waited till they were in a position where I had the advantage here. I got the height advantage. I have cover, and they don't know I'm here. As you can see, that Lashave's got, what, 35 meter range? So that thing's a beast. Love that gun. That's my favorite gun. But that's the key here is, you want to use all the tips, especially that we discuss here. Tactical patience, making sure you get the jump on them, being, careful, don't overreact, don't shoot on sight, don't get nervous. Those type of keys are going to help you make your adventures in the Outland that much more enjoyable. Here's what I'm talking about here. It's the end of, it's probably the, close to the end of season 12 there. As you can see, I'm only level 50. I just, I got kids and traveling soccer and ballet and all that stuff. So, I don't get to play as much as I would love to. But you look at this, you got the bunny ears. Everybody's got LMGs and machine guns. Other shotguns. Get people carrying HPRTs. Hey, this is going to be an intimidating lobby. People are going to go for kills here. So what do? I literally get the first kill of the match. I spawn in. He's coming right to me. Like I said, he's got a VSS. That's a deadly gun. So, just playing my normal game, having my earphones in, waiting, being patient when I need to, being aggressive when I need to. I literally just run in this house, and this player clearly is probably new. Probably got that VSS either from a purchase or from playing, farming eliminations. But using my tactical patience, I get in and get the kill. And it's the first kill of the match of, anybody got. So as you can tell, it's, I'm not the most deadly killer, but I can hold up with them. This match, I kind of want to show here. Let me go back a little bit. So, I run up and that my spidey sense is going off like there's people in there. I know there's somebody in there. So I come up, open the door. I thought they were outside at first because I heard noise when I was running up. So I'm like, all right, let's bait them out. Nobody's shooting, nobody's moving. Still nothing. And here's the key. As you can see, he's hiding in the corner. There's literally two people in this house, 5 feet from each other. Nobody's shooting at anybody. And this is what I mean. You don't want to paint yourself in a corner. You want to be comfortable out in the open. And, don't be afraid to push. The worst that's going to happen is you could go back to your shelter with nothing. But eventually, with enough practice, you'll be able to go back to your shelter with everybody else's guns and everybody else's loot. So, again, like I said, don't let the lobby intimidate you. Play your game, whatever that is. If you're the one that wants to run around and jump shot and get threat every time, stick to it, play. And if you don't get it right the first 100 matches, keep going, because you will get there and you'll enjoy this game. If you want to just loot like I do, learn to listen and learn to kind of understand how the path of action is going to flow based on the points of interest between the signal detector, the barred house, the lock container, where the airdrop lands. Understand the path of action, and then you'll know how to kind of pick your spots. In the last part, it's just knowing the maps, which you're only going to get that by playing. So with that, I want to say again, don't play your game, don't be intimidated by the lobby. And we made it to 500 subs. I can't say thank you enough for everyone. And let me know in the comments below if you agree with my statements on what Vigor was created for and the future of it. If you think that I'm way off base, or if you agree. So again, I appreciate everyone's time. Stay safe out there. Stay safe out there, Outlanders. Apparently, I can't talk. Appreciate everyone, and I'll make sure I'm shaved next time. I apologize. I'm looking a little rough today, but it is what it is. So take care.